In this video, I want to practice translating the song Even If by MercyMe with you. I've already translated part of the song previously, so we'll work through that as well as continue to work on the rest of the song. So the first verse says, "They say sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. And right now I'm losing bad." So let's start with that portion. So for this one of the ways that you can do this is to set up role shifting. So it is talking about actually winning sometimes. You could also describe it a different way. You could say this is a metaphor, or you could take it more at face value, whichever you prefer. There is no right or wrong for translating the song, except that you do have to translate out the metaphors. It does have to make sense when you translate it back into English from the ASL that you created, and it needs to fit with the song as well. Okay, so for this one, I might say win sometimes, role shift, lose sometimes. Okay, right now I'm losing bad. So I might say that this is in reference to right now life is really hard. Life isn't going the way that I planned, or I'm not happy with my life. So I might just say now life hard. Okay, and then it says, "I've stood on this stage night after night, reminding the broken it'll be all right. But right now, oh, right now I just can't." So he's talking about his actual life and the things going on with his life. I've gone back and listened to behind the story, kind of the song, the information about it, what was going on, why did the writer write this one? And he is actually a performer, so he is actually on stage. And so he is talking about being up on the stage and doing those kinds of things. So it says, "I've stood on the stage night after night." Okay, so this one you could say every night. So you have the sign night, and then you have every night, stage, stand, remind people, and you could say reminding the broken it'll be all right. You could say that they have a broken heart and it'll be all right. Okay, so every night, stage, stand, remind people they broken heart. So the sign broken, sign in front of the heart. They broken heart, all right. But right now, oh, right now I just can't. Now, me can't. Then the bridge says, "It's easy to sing when there's nothing to bring me down." Okay, so one way you could look at this is you could say he's talking about his life. So if things are easy, if things are going well, if everything is perfect, then it's easy to sing. But it's not just about actually forming noise with your voice. It's actually about praising God. It's actually about worshiping, because it's easier during that time when things are going good and everything feels good and you're happy. Yes, I can just worship the Lord. Yes. But when it's really hard, are you still willing to do that? Are you still able to do that? Is it just as easy, or is it harder? So for this one, I said life, perfect, worship, easy. And then it says, "But what will I say when I'm held to the flame like I am right now?" Okay. And then I can change it and say, "But now life hard." Okay. So life perfect, worship easy. But now life hard, me say what? What is my response? Okay. And then I can go into that. So this one, I haven't started at all. It says, "I know you're able and I know you can. Save through the fire with your mighty hand. But even if you don't, my hope is you alone. I know the sorrow and I know the hurt would all go away if you just say the word. But even if you don't, my hope is you alone." Okay, so I know you're able and I know you can. So in American Sign Language, able and can are the same sign. So I could say, I know you're able, I know you can. Okay, so I could sign able or can. I could say possible. I could change this. What would I change it to? I know you could. So maybe I would just do that twice, or maybe I would change it a little bit. I know you're able and I know you can. Okay, I know it's possible. I know you can. So I could do it that way. Save through the fire with your mighty hand. So it's not literally talking about a fire, and it's not literally talking about with his hand he's going to reach down and save. So based on that, this is all a metaphor for this little part of it. So I don't have to include another part of it to kind of get the whole idea. Sometimes you need to use like 2 sentences to be able to get the whole idea and then just sign it through that whole thing. That's something you can do as well, but this part's kind of standalone. Save through the fire with your mighty hand. So I could say, save through the fire with your mighty hand. So I can set up and explain a situation. I think better when I type it out. So let's go ahead and do that. Save through the fire with your mighty hand. Save me problems. You strong. Okay, so I could do something like that. I could also say, me problems, you save me. Okay, so maybe that one. So save through the fire with your mighty hand. Okay, so when I'm having problems, you save me. But even if you don't, so I could say, but if you not, or I could say, doesn't matter, even if, anyway, whatever. I kind of like that one. Doesn't matter, regardless. That could be used for even if, because there isn't a sign for even that describes the even if, like if not. It would only be the one like equals or even. Yes, both sides are even, it's a tie, that kind of description. So that's not the one that we're looking for to be able to do a song, okay? So even if, so I could say, even if you don't, or I could say, save me not. There's different ways you could do it. My hope is you. I'm doing a pretty hand this way, okay, referring to God, like kind of an honoring way of doing it as well. So even if you don't, even if you don't, my hope is you, only one. So if I said alone, if I signed alone, that would mean like to be alone, not to have someone else with you, or you feel alone, okay? So we're not going with the feeling of being alone or having just myself, but in the idea of you are the only one. So you want to use that only one, okay? So my hope is you alone, or only one. I know the sorrow and I know the hurt, okay? So I could set this up. There's 2 things, so it's easy to roll shift this one. I know the sorrow, the suffering, the pain, okay? So I know the sorrow and I know the hurt would all go away if you just say the word. All of it, if you say, okay? I could also say, you order it, all of the problems, struggle, disappear or fade away, okay? Fade away. So different ways you could do that one. But even if you don't, or you could say, even if you don't, my hope is you alone, okay? So that would be one way to do the chorus. Let's look at verse 2. This one I've done ahead of time. They say it only takes a little faith to move a mountain. Well, good thing. A little faith is all I have right now. But God, when you choose to leave mountains unmovable, oh, give me the strength to be able to sing, it is well with my soul. So for this one, they say it only takes a little faith to move a mountain. So are we actually physically talking about moving a mountain? Well, the Bible talks about we could have faith like that, but it's more of the idea of doing big things with our faith, not actually we're hoping this mountain will actually move over a couple inches to the left. So in this way, we're using it as a metaphor. So they say it only takes a little faith to move a mountain. So this one, we said faith, small, impact, cha, large, okay? So faith, small, impact, cha, or large. Okay? A little faith, well, good thing a little faith is all I have right now. Now, a little bit, or you could say small, faith, me have. But God, when you choose to leave mountains unmovable, okay? But God, your actions, me, not understand. That's one way you could do it. Oh, give me the strength to be able to sing. You strong or strengthen me can worship. It is well with my soul. So when I hear it is well with my soul, I think back to the old hymn and I go, oh, it is well with my soul. And it goes like this and that. Oh, I love that line and how he incorporated that into a modern day song. But even if a deaf person knows that line from another song, it doesn't have that same impact. Not that the deaf person is completely oblivious or doesn't understand something, just the fact that it's not ASL. It doesn't really have a total meaning just in the phrase, it is well with my soul. So because of that, this one has to be taken more at face value, while you can keep some of the frame that it's set up in, that framework for the sentence. So it is well with my soul. Here we did, my soul is good or well, okay? And then we go to bridge 2. You've been faithful, you've been good all of my days. Jesus, I will cling to you, come what may, because I know you're able. I know you can, okay? So again, I like to type while I think. You've been faithful, you've been good, okay? So the sign that I typically use for been or all this time or since is the sign since, okay? So dominant hand coming up, touching your shoulder here and pointing to yourself this way, but not touching. And then just going forward this way, okay? Been, okay? So for this one, I would say you've, and you usually point up to the right for God, and you point down to the left for hell or Satan, things like that, if you're referring just to a direction wise. So usually God is up here, okay? So you since been faithful, okay? So faithful, or you've since been just continuing, enduring, persevering, that way, okay? You've been faithful, you've since been good. All of my days. So is it actually talking about every single day, all days, or is it just talking about my whole life as a whole? So it's just more of a poetic way of saying that. So we don't really need to say all days, because that's not really accurate. It's talking about your whole life. My whole life, okay? All life, all of my days. Jesus, I will trust you, cling to you, trust you, come what may. Doesn't matter what happens. Because I know you're able. I know you're able. I know you can. Okay, so for that one, I feel like repeating that twice. I think that that makes a good impact. It's not too repetitive or boring or like I just forgot to translate it, but it's making the statement like, I know you're able. I know you can. So it's kind of like double emphasizing it, which is totally fine to do as well. And then on the outro, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. So for this one, I like what we did before with my soul well. So I would say, my soul is good. So my soul is good. I could do it that way. Now, one thing about this, even though this kind of hints at the it is well with my soul, if you're saying my soul is good, what problems could we run into with this one? My soul good. In English, if I was just translating, that would be my soul is good. But the Bible says no one is good, no, not one, that we all need salvation. So there is no point where my soul is good. So maybe I could go back and I could say, that would be a simplistic translation. It kind of matches the song. Probably if you're looking at the words on the screen, you're matching it with that, you totally get the idea. Nobody's super confused or thinking that you're saying your soul is actually good versus theirs is bad or vice versa. But it kind of gets to the point that sometimes we need to think a little bit farther through what we're actually saying. Maybe someone doesn't know that and they're thinking that means that your soul is good. So let's think through this. If we wanted to, how could we change this so that we avoid any confusion or a misinterpretation of this? It is well with my soul. You could say something else that's positive with your soul. Maybe my soul is like calmed, okay, like like relieved, okay. My soul is happy. My soul is satisfied in you, Lord. Okay. Everything that happened since, my soul accepts and trusts. So some of it I can add a little bit more in based on, I know that this song at this point is a little bit slower. It is well with my soul. Okay, so we have that slowness here. So I could totally sign a little bit faster and I could add it in, or I could simply go with something else like my soul is satisfied. It is well with my soul. Things like that. So there is some food for thought for you to think through. That would be how I would translate one way on this exact day at this exact time, how I would translate even if.